Stormi Rowe.
And I'm Ransom Loftis.
And we are proud to introduce to our community Magnolia Place, Obstetrics, Gynecology, and Wellness.
So I wasn't one of those people that knew I wanted to be a physician from elementary school. My mom was a teacher. My dad worked in parks and recreation. My dad had a lot of medical problems. He had multiple sclerosis. When I went to medical school, I wanted to be a neurologist, and quickly changed that, I think, probably in my, midway through my first year of medical school, and joined a lot of interest groups and decided I wanted to go into OBGYN, and there's just so much the field has to offer, and it's never boring. But I think that probably, like a lot of people, it's largely kind of influenced by family experiences, and my dad was no stranger to the medical system, and I think that's what really drove me.
And for me, probably my first experience learning to love learning was in the 7th grade with science. And I had that in the backdrop of my father's mother, my grandmother, who was a nurse for 38 years, telling me, Stormi, you're going to be a doctor one day, and you're going to meet, the person that is of your same yolk, and you'll have a great life. And I would always say, yes, Grandma, I'm going to figure it out. And so I vacillated, honestly, between the sciences. I even considered pre-law, and then my life evolved, and she was right. I did meet a wonderful husband who, also wanted to go into medicine. He's actually a cancer survivor. And if you were to ask me what's my superpower, I'd have to say, gosh, there's some strong front runners, but probably multitasking versus reading people. I very much grew up in a tourist environment and working in restaurants and such, and with my family developed that skill. And but to do everything we do as moms, as us as physicians, multitasking is inherently required.
She stole what I was going to say about multitasking. I think that she's probably better at reading people than I am. But multitasking for sure. And I don't know, what do you think my
I would say her superpower is being witty. She's very much a
Witt
spitfire.
is my maiden name.
It is. Yeah, she's very much a spitfire and will speak her mind, and that I love her for.
A sharp-tongued wit.
Yes.
I don't know if everybody would call that a superpower. Yeah. We met in college at ECU. In Jean-Luc Samama's class. What is it?
Self-physiology.
Self-physiology. Marie and her husband Mike were in the class, and why don't you tell them your first impression of me? I think you said she comes to classroom and she's got her pajamas on, and I was sitting down front, so maybe they thought I was kind of being a dork, but we sort of followed each other through college. She was a little ahead of me, and
yeah, we've been together ever since. Our families are like family.
Right, 2000. I was in his class when 9/11 happened, so it was 2001. 20 years.
20 years. A lot we have lived together, and never did we dream that we would both be OBGYNs and opening a medical practice together. But it's certainly, a wonderful twist of fate.
Magnolia Place, I think, was really born out of the idea that women deserve better. We deserve what we give everyone else. I mean, we give everyone else 110% of ourselves, if not more, when it comes to being a mom or a friend or a daughter. But we oftentimes leave ourselves on the back burner. And Magnolia Place, I mean, we want to be a new medical home for women. we know that women are busy. We want it to be comfortable. We want it to seem unlike any other doctor's office that they've been to. And we want them to feel like they're getting the time they deserve, because women deserve it. I mean, they deserve, someone sitting down and actually listening to them, and not just feeling like you're, number 17 out of 27 that day.
And really, I think the idea and vision of Magnolia came out of a feeling of a void of what we weren't giving our patients and what we wanted to do, and also contrasting that with our idea of what we thought medicine would be when we came to practice medicine. In your training, it's strictly hospital based for the most part, but you have this idea of what it's like in private practice, and so it really was an evolution of that. And the void I speak of is time, accessibility. We wanted to solve the problems that we see in healthcare that makes it so complex, that we don't want it to be difficult for you to reach us when you need us. We want you to understand everything that's going on with you, whether it's a problem that we're discussing together or it's a specialist you're seeing and you don't understand what they're saying. We want to be that translator, that confidant, that advocate to help you navigate. And the Magnolia Place model is really a home where you can seek us when you need us.
Right. And I think, Marie and I both trained at Vidant with ECU, OBGYN, and we had mentors there. I mean, I can think of probably it was 3 a.m. in the emergency room with one of my mentors, and he sat down, looked at me, he said, Loftis, if you don't like talking to women, you're in the wrong field. And I remember that every time I'm sitting there talking to a woman who's crying or laughing about something that, that's the field we're in. I mean, it's what our physical exams we do are just a fraction of what we're doing with women. We're so lucky to have been trained by, the biggest advocates around, and that's what we want to share for, our patients, is the advocacy for them that was bestowed upon us.
Exactly, absolutely. I feel like the luxury of our mentors really showing us the power of keeping you as the physician and your patient centered. As long as you do that, nothing can be wrong with that situation. And that's what we want to do with Magnolia Place, is to keep physician and patient front and center, and then we're going to, in the background, navigate the complexities of medical care to keep it simple for patients. I would say, if you ask me what my biggest dream could be, it's probably that growing up, I never realized that I wanted to have children, and when I came to know my adopted daughter, who I feel like she is my blood, my own, she opened the world up to love and family, and along with my husband. And then slowly, as life evolved, I developed more and more hats that I wear each day. And my dream is that I always fulfill each of my hats to the best of my ability, and feel content when I'm a lovely 80-year-old spry woman that I did it well, and I did it my way, and to be proud of that. Certainly, life is messy, and we have regrets, but I hope that I learn from those, and others learn from mine as well, and mistakes and such, and that life can be as good and simple. A simple life is a beautiful life. Is what I hope, is my dream.
You're so, you make me cry. It's really gut-wrenching. I think my dream is I don't want to look back and have any regrets. I think that there's a lot of terrible things that can happen in your life, and I want to look back and say that I did everything to the best of my ability, the way I wanted to, on my terms. I want my kids to have a life, like a childhood like I had. And I think that that's harder
Now
these
you're
days.
just crying.
But I think that, you know, I think we're doing the best we can and trying to make them have that kind of life. We dedicate this video to our families and you know, near and far, but especially those near, like our husbands. My husband Mickey, my sons Ran and Witt, who are enjoying their second day of school today. Witt's second day of school.
Yeah, and my boys Jack and Alexander had their first day of school today, so that was our rush this morning.
And then we'd like to make a donation to Riley's Army, and then the Greenville Community Shelter Clinic, which is near and dear to our hearts, because when we were both in medical school at the Brody School of Medicine, we both, during our times there, acted as co-directors of the shelter clinic.
Help run the clinic, yes. Yeah. But certainly we also want to know that Magnolia Place aims to have regular community involvement and serve as a resource for other organizations, and so we're very excited about that.
Yeah.
We'd like to say thank you for taking a moment to hear about Magnolia Place, and we really want to impart that, you know, little tidbit of advice is to live life with little expectation and to enjoy the present and let that guide your decisions. It's basically the way we live.
Exactly, and please, you know, visit our website at magnoliaplace-obgyn.com. We'd love to take care of you.